Hello, everybody. Welcome to this YBI presentation on virtual accounting, or how I learned to stop worrying and love the cloud. That's just a nice little callback to Dr. Strangelove, that movie. Just thought that kind of fit in with this because a lot of people are, even in 2020, still worried about the cloud, and especially with their financial information, putting it up there. And, you know, it, a lot of people these days, I mean, technology is just so embedded in everything that we do. And a lot of the news does talk about a lot of the risks and bad things that can happen with it, but there's so much good to it as well. And I know one of my clients, one of his biggest concerns about moving all of his accounting into the cloud was hackers and the data not being with him. And I had countered to him the fact that it's fine. You can have your accounting software and all of your information stored locally, and you can run backups and things like that. But if you were to have a fire or some other type of catastrophe where the hard drive fails and you don't have some type of offsite backup, then you're really in a world of hurt. So, the cloud does have some risk, but the software packages we're going to talk about today have just multiple redundancies that allow for you to trust in it and to use it to your advantage, because there's a lot of cool features and good things that these software packages offer small business owners. So we're going to talk about a few different areas in accounting cloud software. Your typical software packages, so QuickBooks Online, I'm a big proponent of that one. I'm a QuickBooks Pro Advisor. I have a lot of experience using that. And then another one called Wave Accounting, which I used a few years ago and actually just got signed up with it again to play around with it a little bit. And they made some major improvements. It's a great piece of software. And the best part about it is it's totally free. You get a lot of the features that QuickBooks Online has in some of their more advanced packages for free. Now, both of these are cloud-based, so you can access them from your computer, your phone. They have apps, and also anywhere. So obviously with COVID-19 and almost everybody having to work remotely, if you had your accounting using QuickBooks Desktop or maybe Sage Peachtree, and it was stored locally, you either would have to come up with some type of remote desktop platform to be able to access it, or still go into the office and pull it up. But with these, you're able to access them anywhere, anytime, using pretty much anything, which is awesome. You also don't have to worry about all of the just things that go in with running your own server. So we'll talk about those in a little bit more in detail. Then some other apps that actually work with QuickBooks Online specifically. One of the drawbacks with Wave is it doesn't have a ton of integrations like QuickBooks Online does. But anyways, so for time tracking, there's a software called T-Sheets. We used it here at the YBI. We just started using it back in October, and it just gives you an insane amount of tracking of people's time. And I mean, we use it in a rather unique way that I'll talk about when we get to that point. But they also have a time clock kiosk that can use a computer or a tablet, where your employees are able to sign in with a password or even with facial recognition, which is pretty cool. And there's some scheduling features and a lot of reporting on the back end that you can get out of that as well. And then the third area of software we'll talk about is involving an electronic accounts receivable and accounts payable, Bill.com, which we use here at the YBI. And I'm really excited to talk about this one because I think out of all of this software, this one has made the transition from being in the office and being able to really have an accounting system in place. It was just nothing to go home and be able to do this. So I'm really excited to talk about Bill.com. I'll actually show you a few of the cool features that really set it apart and make it a worthwhile investment. So, we already talked a little bit about these two pieces of software. They both more or less allow you to track income and expenses in varying degrees. Now, with QuickBooks Online, they have 4 different levels. They have Startup, Essentials, Advanced, and I can't think of the other one right off the top of my head, but they all have different features that you're able to use. And one of the things that I think Wave Accounting beats QuickBooks Online is with the fact that you just get everything right off the bat. You don't have to upgrade or scale up your subscription. It's just all there in Wave. But some nice features that, again, talking about being able to work remotely at the drop of a hat. One of the things that both software packages have is the ability for you to connect your bank account and credit card accounts to the software. Basically, how that works is you sign in with your username and password, and you're able to sync. It'll do it automatically, just at different periods, or you can do it manually. So it'll pull in all of the information that you have from your bank account or your credit card, and then you are able to go in there and assign the transactions to a specific vendor and expense account and just make sure the amount is correct, so that pretty much a lot of the work is already done for you. And speaking specifically about QuickBooks Online, it has an AI feature where you can set up some rules, and it will get smarter the more you use it, and it will automatically start entering transactions based off of the what it's seeing in your bank feed and on your credit card statement. So pretty cool stuff. Anything that can save time and eliminate data entry is a good thing, and that's really the direction a lot of these platforms are going in the accounting field in general. There's a lot of data that can be automated, and when we get to Bill.com, you're going to see that in action, live and in person. So that's pretty cool. Both pieces of software give you the ability to look at your standard accounting reports, so your balance sheet, your profit and loss, statement of cash flows. There's a lot of other custom reporting you can do in there as well. And I highly recommend, if you don't have an accounting software, I would at least the bare minimum get into Wave because of the fact that it's free. QuickBooks does give you a lot more flexibility with integrating apps, and unfortunately, you're going to need QuickBooks to really use T-Sheets and Bill.com to their fullest potential. But they're both great pieces of software. So at a bare minimum, it's a no-brainer to use Wave if you're just not at the point that you're ready to pay for accounting software. And then one of the other nice features about both of them, and this with Wave, there is a fee, and there's also a fee with QuickBooks Online, but you're able to integrate credit card processing and payroll into the software. So there are fees attached to that on top of, with QuickBooks, a subscription fee, and with Wave, you're not paying one, but this is where you would end up paying some money. But it's going to allow you to run your payroll through there and have a pretty slick and convenient option for your customers to pay. And I actually do this with my QuickBooks Online account. I'm able to send the invoice directly to the customer, and they can pull it up right then and there. They're actually, if I were to make a change to the invoice, it'll show up to them, and they're able to pay it with a credit card or a bank transfer, and that accounting is all handled for me. So I don't need to go into QuickBooks and say, hey, I just looked at my bank, this customer paid me. It's doing all of this automatically, which is awesome. And again, it's a huge time saver, especially for small business owners who now more than ever are juggling more areas of their business just to try to get through this whole pandemic. So these things will help you a lot. And obviously we'll be sending out some information after this, ways to get in touch with me if you're looking to get onto these. With QuickBooks Online, I am able to offer some discounts through their wholesale billing and the fact that I'm a pro advisor. So if you are interested in QuickBooks, you'll be able to reach out and we can try to get something started for you. The one catch is you do have to, it would be a new subscription. So if you already have a subscription to QuickBooks Online, then unfortunately, there's not much we can do there. But Wave, you're able to sign up for that yourself. And that, to get to Wave, it's just waveapps.com. So let's talk about T-Sheets a little bit. So again, it's time tracking software, but there's just an immense amount of features to it. You are able to access it from your browser and mobile app, and the mobile app's pretty cool. It'll notify you, like if you were to forget to clock out, and both of them, they give you a clock in and clock out feature, but there's some other ways of keeping track of time as well. It does have some accounting and payroll processors that it syncs with. And, you know, with the YBI, the big reason we started using T-Sheets is just we have different programs and grants, and we needed to be able to track people's time by those so that you're able to allocate your payroll expenses to those programs and grants. You know, that might be a little bit more than most small businesses need to do, but it is a nice feature to have, especially if you are doing like job costing where you're billing employee time to customers or specific projects. It's awesome to use T-Sheets for that.